Diablo music, spooky, spooky music, Blizzard, Diablo, spooky, spooky. Spooky. Game Informer, number 355, May 2023. Oh yeah. Going for a fast one again this time. Sweet Diablo, Victorian art, some kind of art. Last month, nice Samus and Metroid. Okay, Super Mario Makers. Alright, back in the 1993 Mario Brothers movie with John Leguizamo, this was the movie that showed the director of the 2023 movie that movies can be bad. They knew that the creators of the old movie knew that video games were popular, but they didn't know why the games were popular. So that's why they say like a lot of old video game movies were not that great. They stuck, but this time with the 2023 movie, they stuck close to the source material. But one thing I hear though is that the voice actors, the popular voice actors, were very much not necessary. They could have just got guys that sounded like the video game. Alright, Final Fantasy 16 is going to be the most action-oriented mainline Final Fantasy game. It's going to be fast-paced, and it's the first Final Fantasy action game, per se, versus the turn-based combat that we usually got back in the day and the current kind of style that they have. Okay, so Ryoto Suzuki, he is the combat director. He spent 20 years working at Capcom on games like Marvel vs. Capcom 2, Devil May Cry 5, and he now is the combat director along with Naoki Yoshida, the producer, and Hiroshi Takai, who is the main director. Okay, goodbye the Wii U eShop. That's dead. It's had it suffered the Wii U basically it suffered low sales, and it was one of Nintendo's most disappointing consoles. The loading screen, but it had a lot of good features though. The loading screen was a mini game itself, and the Switch's menus, while the Switch's menus are bland, and the Wii U had iconic music like the Wii Ones, even rivaling it, but the Switch could learn a thing or two from the Wii U. And you could buy DS games on the Wii U dual screen, and you could actually own the games, unlike with the Switch online games, because when you lose service to the Switch account, you actually lose the games. It's not on your hard drive or anything. So, always getting you to rebuy games. So, be on the lookout. Be on the watch out. Okay, now, Sam Barlow's new game, Immortality, the film history that inspired Sam Barlow's latest game. Sam Barlow's new game, Immortality, is about piecing together the story from fragments of video, and it centers around a fictional actress named Marissa Marcel in 1968, 1970, and 1990 films that were never released. Of course they were never released, but never released though, in the fictional world. He wanted to make films that were like 30 they were like Alfred Hitchcock classics. The second film, Minsky, is an erotic thriller. The third film, Two of Everything, is like The Bodyguard with Whitney Houston. So in real life, they actually filmed these movies, and they didn't tell the actors that there was a game associated with it. They shot the movies, and they didn't tell the actors anything, but like these were real movies. And it's kind of trying to do like a following Stanley Kubrick's thing. Like when he was making Eyes Wide Shut, you'll watch Marissa, the fictional actress. It's pretty much she's gonna work herself to death like Stanley Kubrick did in the game. And this is a long way from Sega CD FMV days, or is it? All right. Movies that kind of influence this game film type of deal are The Devils, Black Narcissus, Saint Joan, Klutz, Don't Look Now, Lost Highway, The Bodyguard, like I said, The Double Life of Veronica, and Eyes Wide Shut. Something for the film buffs. All right, Life and Death with Akumi Nakamoto. We're in Japan right here, touring with this lady. She's the head of a game studio. Old buildings are being replaced with new ones. Dealing with a lot of life and death here in Japan. There's a slaughterhouse. Cows are getting slaughtered. Craziness. And this slaughterhouse in this part of Japan takes up an entire city block. Life and Death in Japan. Okay. Now, this article right here, My Summer Job, Conning People with VR by Matt Shore. In 2003, this guy was 17 years old, and his summer job was at an amusement park where he yelled to passerby attendees, "Step on in, ride a vicious raptor, fly through a haunted castle. Shake your hands and stomp your feet. The sensors in the floor can feel it. The game will register and respond to your most minuscule movement." All this was a lie. The machine didn't do any of that. And the ride costed an extra $15, the VR ride. You get one sucker to go in, then soon enough you'll see 5 or 6 following them until you filled up the VR machine's room capacity. And then it was really nothing but a pre-recorded video, and you had a crowd participation type of game thing going on. So, and then when you see like a sourpuss not getting involved, then you would just call them out on the speaker system. And then there's nothing like a bit of shaming to get even the most sourpussy people to get involved in the whole con. And then and pretty much the crowd participation made no difference, but the people ended up loving it though. But somehow, and everything was pre-recorded, and for some reason the people always ended up loving it. And the attraction eventually went bankrupt. I'm guessing because the VR was crappy. But this guy's story, Matt Shore, about VR, old school VR. Okay, so this one is about Shenmue is a beautiful grief simulator. For one father, Yu Suzuki's Magnus Opal mirrors real life. My boy Jeff used to love Shenmue. I played like 0.1% of Shenmue back on old Dreamcast. James Tochio played Shenmue 23 times in 22 years. Shenmue is about a real guy in a real world inhabited by other real people and dealing with the death of a loved one and the loneliness that follows it. And it's a sandbox open world. The article writer James Tochio name's Tochio. He lost his newborn. He hit rock bottom, found a psychiatrist, picked up and put down different hobbies, and Shenmue's protagonist is much the same, is going through grief the whole game. So the moral of the story is keep those we love close to us. Going a little slower than I anticipated. Let me step it up. Yeah, all kind of different products for sale. Hot Wheels Rift Rally. Looks like a video camera on a Hot Wheels deal, $130. All right, Diablo 4. Diablo 4 releases on June 6th. It's a gigantic shared world of hundreds of players alone or in groups to stop Lilith. A lot of post-game content coming. So 4 unfolds decades after 3's Sanctuary, the mortal realm created by rogue angels and demons to escape the never-ending hell versus heaven war. And at the beginning, Angel Inarius and his lover, the demon Lilith, gave birth to humans' ancestors, the Nephilim. And you're trying to stop Lilith from reclaiming Sanctuary. Players play as one of 5 classes, and there's expanded skill trees filled with powers, passives, etc. Great leveling up. Story campaign takes 35 hours to complete. Barbarian, Sorceress, Rogue, Necromancer, Druid. 5 classes. Play differently. There's going to be seasonal content updates. Post-launch quarterly combat content releases will be meaty. And they'll include new storylines and fresh mechanics and features for free and premium users. But it's an online-only, always online game, so eventual server shutdown is bound to happen. So be aware of that. 5 unique classes again. Portable possibilities, even. Alright, moving along to Hyper Light Breaker. Fighting the Dinosaur Calamity. It's you and your friends versus thousands of dinosaurs in Exoprimal. Hundreds, maybe even thousands of velociraptors pour from the sky. Yeah, so Capcom's Exoprimal has you and exosuited friends facing thousands of dinos falling from the sky through portals. Primarily a multiplayer game, 2 groups of 5 race to see who can combat the dino threat fastest over 2 phases. Then the 3rd phase has team versus dinos versus other team. You also protect a payload. Coming this summer, also a 10-player co-op. Time frame of the game is 2040 through 2043 when the game is set in. And the AI that's set to fight back against the dinos is actually orchestrating the portals that drop the dinos. So crazy story we're in store for. Exoprimal. Okay. And we got a Hyper Light Breaker. Not a sequel to Hyper Light Drifter, not Hyper Light Drifter 2, but it's a follow-up, different game. 3D roguelite multiplayer. There's a Pangea shift with different separate biomes that interconnect. And multiplayer built into the game's foundation, so it connects friends and strangers. Excellent neon-y art. Okay, Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Respawn ENT's 3D third-person action game by Titanfall creators. Cal Kestis' ship crash lands on Kobo. Walk into a battle of the droids. They'll remark, Roger, Roger, like the prequels, and fire in your direction. New twin saber stance. And Cave, Cantina, Playa Saloon. A lot of compelling mysteries and locales are there to discover. Beautiful scenery. Johnny 5 licking droid. Yeah. Alright, Dead Island 2. Some characters start able to block, and the army starts with a dodge. You'll fight zombies on a sitcom set. Most impressive is the environments and stories you pick up just by walking through the scenery. Don't have to really read the text that's in the books that are strewn around. You can just read the scenery. All right, Endless Dungeon. This is another roguelite. I mean, very many roguelites coming out nowadays. And a tower defense. Walk into an Old West space saloon. You'll face waves of enemies, try to find upgrades, place turrets, find exit to the next area. Okay. Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom. Recall, Link reminds in objects. This heavily features the move Recall, where Link rewinds an object's movement, so Link can seamlessly now travel from Earth to the sky and vice versa without load times. The weapon degradation returns. A lot to look forward to in this new Zelda. All right, RedFall, a cozy Massachusetts island town overrun by vampires and their familiars. You and up to 3 friends play as one of 4 cryptozoologists, robot companion, psychic eye sniper, or telekinetic power medical trial survivors. Standard weaponry can't kill vampires, only a stake. So make sure you have your wooden stakes to kill the vampires. Okay, we got Lego 2K Drive. So the 2K series of the sports and everything, they're making this. And this is an open world racing game where the physics system has the bricks react realistically to hits. So homing missiles, like in Mario Kart, will cause bricks to fall off. And you have to utilize drifting, turbo, and items to advance in the story. And citizens wearing bunny ears, all type of randomness. Good 6-player co-op. Drive-in movie theater, UFO, all kind of crazy stuff going on. All right, we got Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. This is made by the same people who made the Arkham series, the classic Arkham series. You can go alone or swap between or play with 3 friends with 4-player co-op. Harley is agile. We got a Captain Boomerang, fast as the Flash. We got Deadshot with a jetpack. And there is King Shark. He has brute strength. 3rd-person loot-based shooter. And there's customizable weapons. And you can throw on a costume of Bane, Wonder Woman, or Superman to get their powers, strangely. And there's a live service structure with a battle pass. So, you're going to be coming up off of more money to play this. But that's coming just around the corner. May 26th. All right, then we got Tekken 8. Tekken 8 encourages players to go on the offensive. There's a new heat system in addition to the rage system that was implemented in Tekken 7, where the heat system makes heated up characters moves more effective. So as we see right here, what's that dude's name? King looks to be heated up, while Yakuza, what's his name? I forget. But yeah, King is heated up and his moves are going to be more effective. So look out for Tekken 8 coming soon. All right, then we got Wayfinder. Wayfinder, the gloom has killed the planet's greatest heroes. Magic brings them back to life. Dark side reminiscent combat. Story integrates multiverses. Looks to feel like an MMO in time. Okay, humanity. You're an ethereal dog in each level, you shepherd humans to a goal. Feels like programming with so many humans. Look at all those humans. That is a crazy lemmings. Yeah, so you analyze floating stages and make your move. And then there are also giant totems that you want to hit to get extra bonus points. There's really no scoring system, but just trying to get the humans to where they want to be. And there's a level editor. You can share levels online, and it's also VR playable. So kind of like a Mario Maker. All right, now we got Bramble the Mountain King. where you're rescuing this guy's sister in a Nordic puzzling platformer. We got Cities, a city building sim with real life transportation and economy systems. We got Raven's Watch, folktale inspired top down action roguelike. Not light, but like. Unleaving, which is a limbo-like platformer with watercolor kind of brushstroke art style. We have Coffee Talk Episode 2, Hibiscus and Butterfly. This is a story and dialogue move forward based on what coffee orders and how well you fill them in a fantasy Seattle, where you'll be serving the coffee to not only humans but ogres and elves. And I played a game like this on that little Focus app a long time ago, where they used to push that little brain games, but it really didn't really have empirical evidence to say that helps your brain at all. But anyway, Foglands, no, Let's Revolution. This is a strategy game on a Minesweeper-like board. Okay, we got Foglands, VR roguelike. Run through mysterious fog for a demon who has a deck of cards that controls you. Okay, we got Journey to Foundation, based off Isaac Asimov's Foundation. This is a VR shooter. So you play as a spy trying to prevent war in space. Okay, on to the reviews, not the previews. Resident Evil 4, this one got a big old 9.5 out of 10. It has you shooting at kneecaps from the jump, parrying projectiles, and it never loses this pace. You've got a slightly rewritten story where, it's the same Spanish villagers infected by Las Plagas. I played this what had to be 15 years ago or something. The first one changes old scenes where what once was safe is now very dangerous. So 9.5 sounds like a must play. Chia. Save her kidnapped father. It has a surprisingly dark tone and surprising twist for such kid cartoony looking animation. Endearing story in there. All right, then we got Destiny 2 Lightfall, the latest expansion. Got a 7.75, 8.5 for Chia. A little uninspired campaign, bullet spongy foes, but kind of a strong narrative setting up for the future of Destiny. Right, then we got Wolong Fallen Dynasty. So this is a finely honed delight with precise action. Intricate learning of each adversary is very fulfilling. Causes trance-like focus. Got an 8.75. Bayonetta Origins, Cereza, and the Lost Demon. This one is a refreshing change of pace for the franchise with 10-year-old Cereza and her demonic partner. Looks even more cel-shaded than ever. All right, then we got WWE 2K23, another 2K title. While technically better than 2K22, but feels more formulaic than 22. Okay, then we got that one got a 8, so pretty good. R.I.P. your boy Razor Ramon. I think that's Razor Ramon. Actually, nah, that's Roman Reigns, I think. But R.I.P. Razor Ramon. Outlanders. Small scale management sim. You balance all the factors to accomplish the goals, lest you see your followers drop dead like flies. Got an 8.25. Rhythmos. Music to my ears. Rhythmos uses puzzles to simulate making music. It has increasing difficulty and this is great for the music enthusiast. 8.5. We have Crime Boss, Rockay City. This is about a criminal organization and their rise to the top. But unfortunately, the gameplay is unbalanced, buggy, repetitive, and unbalanced. Got a 3 out of 10. Sounds like a stay away. D&D goblets, like a pimp, and a torch bearer guy. Pretty cool. And the meaning of meta, VR, and the metaverse. Okay. Meta has a virtual storefront with 400 approved games and apps. And the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, unsuccessfully recently tried to stop Meta's acquisition of Within Unlimited, a big VR company. And VR is a hard business to build. And Zuckerberg will likely invest $250 million into Reality Labs, the company, over the next 10 years. You need killer apps to attract customers to this VR scene, and it's just not right. It's not quite here yet, but I mean, inevitably it's coming. Okay. And Resident Evil 4 was seemingly made with the thought someday they're gonna put this on VR, and it's gonna be off the chain. Okay, so the future is mixed. So, Virtual Boy is a great illustration of VR being misunderstood. It did provide the 3D graphics, but 3D is not what people care about. That's why 3D TV flops. Mixed reality is the next wave. And where you're going to introduce virtual items into the real world. And metaverse is the social interaction of people in the augmented reality and VR spaces. This guy thinks the metaverse will be a fractured thing, but Zuckerberg is hoping it's going to be like one solitary thing that just he controls, but it's going to likely be a fractured thing. And so summing it up, there goes Beat Saber, great music game, Resident Evil 4. Half-like Alex, another half-like Alex. All right, so just summing it up. Though Zuckerberg undoubtedly knows that he can't buy, patent, or own the metaverse, he's spending big developing Horizon World, a 3D world that feels like an early rendition of the Oasis and Ernest Cline's Ready Player One. Merging Horizon World into prime real estate in the metaverse may not be easy. Comparing the move to Disney creating the world's best food chain and then placing the restaurants in its theme parks, analyst Michael Pachter says it's the wrong approach. I think it's going to be more entrepreneurial than that, and I don't think that Zuckerberg is the right guy to do it. We'll see. I could be wrong. So let's hope that Michael Pachter is wrong. All right, then we got to end it all off. We got making Mario's shoes. This is a collab with Red Wing Shoes. They're currently being displayed at the Nintendo store in New York City. These were designed, built, and stitched by hand. Well, and what's unique about these shoes is, like, Mario's feet have very different proportions than a regular human's feet. It's kind of like more ovular and less long than wide, but Mario's feet are more wide. And what brought about this is that, like, the first trailer focused on Mario's shoes and their high fidelity, and they went ahead on and made these shoes. Everybody would love to own a pair of these Mario shoes, even more than the Astro Boy shoes, I would say. But I think they're going to release these shoes, but we'll see. All right, anyway, that has been Game Informer number 355. Check back with me next month. Next month, I'm afraid, will probably be just me reading that joint. But anyway, Boyo Games, like, comment, subscribe. Spock.